Bezat Hashem, B'shat Mazliach, we're back in the Limut in Halachot Shabbat Siman 252. In Siv, we're actually in Siv Katan Bet of Mishnah Berurah. So he says, Shel Pishtan Latanur, right? So what are you doing? You're putting Kedeshit Labnu. You're putting unin. What is unin? Agudot. Special. You're putting bundles of Pishtan of flax, and you're putting it, I guess, in the tanur. It should become white or some dry, maybe. Maybe when they become dry, they become white, right? Yom Tov gave us a beautiful picture the other day, right? The bundles of flax. It was a bundle of like a weak yellow stuff. I mean green stuff. It becomes maybe. So he says, so you put it before Shabbat into the oven. I guess with the heat of the oven. When you seal up the oven, the heat will make it become white. Okay, that's afilo en tuach kisuyo betit. אפילו אחי לא חיישן את שם יגלה הכיסוי וחטא בכחנים לכיוון דהרוח קשה להן לא חיישן את שם יגלהו. Okay, so he says like this. Over there we discussed many times many of those items require the opening of the oven to be covered with the mud, right? Teeth, special mud that they use to cover to keep the worm inside. Here says Mishnah Berurah, when it comes to pishtan, when it comes to the flax, even if it is not covered, because over there we're not worried that you're going to mix something, because mixing the item will actually ruin it. The flax, if you want the flax to stay white, you don't want to touch it. You want it to be staying in position and stationary. If you start moving it, it's actually you're detracting it from becoming, I guess, fully white. I have zero idea what's going on here, but the chora is we could understand here that the other day we said that other items you have to have a cover. Why? Because if you don't have a cover, by mixing it, you're cooking it, you're making it speedy to turn what you want it to. But here, when it comes to flaxseed or any item, I guess we will assume any item that is the same position where you're mixing it, it's going to be actually detracting from your purpose of what you're trying to achieve. And there, the halacha is you could leave it even without a cover, says Mishnah Berurah. Okay? By the way, today is the 20th of Shvat, Tuesday, the 3rd of the week. Okay, now let's see. Parashat Mishpatim. Gimel, Tzemer letoch hayorah. So we said you are allowed to put wool into a pot, she'en al ha'esh, that it's not on the fire, v'itucha betit. But there was a requirement to make sure what once you put wool into the pot, I guess it's becoming fermented or whatever, it's becoming better while it's in this pot while it was hot. So this way the wool gets whatever it gets. So he says over there the condition is Vehu kolet hatzeva. What you're trying to do is you're putting it into the pot, into this vessel, and you put inside the wool, and it absorbs the color. So on Shabbat, before Shabbat, you're allowed to prepare it, but that the only condition is going to be there. Shulchan Aruch told us you must cover the top with the mud, so it should be sealed. Because there, we're afraid you're going to come and mix it. Because by mixing, you're making it more colorful again, more observant of the color. And that will be asur on Shabbat, because it's down like cooking on Shabbat. I feel okay? Now, so it's into contrast with the flaxseed, we said. But the flaxseed, you will stay open, because mixing is detrimental. Over there, when mixing is going to actually help, even if the vessel is not on top of the fire, still going to be asur, because it's still hot. You're going to be mixing it to make it more colorful, the wool, that requires the cover. Dalet asur shema yichate. So that's the prohibition. We're afraid that you're going to mix. Hainu afilu yesh zman shiklot en hatzeva mi'ba'od yom afilu. Hachi asur. He says, let's say you put it on Friday morning. Now, wool is...
The first case, I missed something.
The first case was flax, a bundle of flax.
But when?
Bundle of flax, you put it in the oven. There's no requirement to seal the opening, because over there, Mishnah Berurah explained, if you play around with the bundle, it's not gonna become white so fast. You actually detrimental. It's detrimental for you to mix it.
Because it's gonna ruin
it. So therefore, the halakha says you're allowed to leave it open. But over there, where the wool is gonna benefit from you leaving it
But
open.
it doesn't say the time when you're putting it, right? Before Shabbat.
That's
morning,
right.
afternoon.
But here, Mishnah Berurah is telling you, even if you put it early in the morning, Friday morning, you put it before Shabbat, the wool into the pot, and the wool already becomes colorful like this. If you notice, our shirt, right? You spill a little bit of wine, goes right through, right? So maybe the wool, you'll say, it's already colorful anyway, so let me not cover it. Says Mishnah Berurah, no, asur, even if it's already colored, even if the wool observed the color. But obviously, why didn't you pull it out? Because you want it to become stronger or whatever. You want it to be really fermented, right? You want it to go in and keep that color forever. So you're leaving it there extra. You're leaving it extra. That means it's not fully done. So therefore, because it's not fully done, you must cover it with
Mud.
with the mud in order for you not to go there on Shabbat.
Mud?
Yeah, tit is mud.
Tit.
Mud. It's mud mixed with flax. They used to bricks like that.
Chamra.
Yeah.
You know chamra? The brown.
Brown. Mud. Brown. Yeah. Brown mud.
You
Okay,
mix it
mud,
with
mud.
the teven.
Yeah,
And,
with
cash.
straw. With straws, yes.
Straws and water. And when it's dry, it's like brick.
Yeah. That's how they
The
used to bricks
entire
in
three
Tashkent.
quarter of Africa is like that.
No, my house was like that. I remember we had a fire.
It's
you
good
know.
for, I'm sorry, Rabbi, for, how you said it, insulation for heat and cold.
Yeah, but my house was
brick.
built.
Brick.
My house was
That's
built
a
like
brick,
this.
yeah.
Bibi, my mother. I remember we had a fire and there was a lot of destruction of the fire. I remember my mother. Baruch Hashem, we had the Arabs come and they built for us the bricks and we were working. My mother, her hand, she was actually putting up the wall. And again, but that's how they did it.
The dumping.
Shema yichate kede liklot hetev. So no problem. So we're afraid that it's going to be on YouTube. We're afraid that you're going to mix it to make sure that the color goes in good. Dalet. Siv katan dalet. Asur shema yichate. Sorry, hey. Lamegis. 1 second. You calling in? Okay. Moshe? Okay. That's it. Okay. Everybody on? Everybody's on? Hello, Moshe? Moshe? Okay, thank you, No problem. Okay. Okay. If Rav Moshe, if you hear me, have text Eliyahu that he should call your number because now I have two phones. Okay. So continue as it's Steve Katan Hey, Shema Vanagis. So hey over here, the Mishnah Berurah, Shulchan Aruch told us that Shem Yichate, Shema Yagiz Babekaf. So he said that the Shulchan Aruch told us even if it's not on fire, we're afraid that you're gonna, I guess, mix it and all those things. So says Mishnah Berurah on that. Hine avde mechaber hishva agasa biyora leagasa b'gdira. Eno shaveh legamre. So he says that Shulchan Aruch compared, I guess, mixing in the pot or gdira. Gdira is what's his name? Frying pan, right? So he says they're both similar. The b'gdira im hi b'mushelet kol tzurka too late be'isura. No. So the Mishnah Berurah wants to disagree with Shulchan Aruch, and he says if it's in a pot, once it's cooked, it's cooked. It's not going to help us anymore there. There is no isur. V'ilu biyora asur bechol gevana le'agiz ba kimuvar lekaman b'siman. So if it's in what's his name? It's in a frying pan. I guess it's not fully cooked yet. So in a pot, if it's dipped in a pot of wool, then lechoira it will be even you are allowed to leave it open, uncovered. But in the frying pan, you need to cover it because in frying pan it's not fully done. Okay, so whatever that is. כן, אסור לתת צמר ליורה רותחת סמוך לחשיכה, כשאין לתוכה אף שיש שהות לקלוט הצמר מבעוד יום. Says therefore you're prohibited to put wool into into frying pan because that is still, if it's not ready 100%, then it would be asur because we're afraid that you're gonna try to make it. You're gonna mix it and try to make sure that the tseva color goes into into the wool. Sheme yagiz mishach hashecha. So if you don't cover it before Shabbat, on Shabbat you're going to come and mix it. Just a second. Moshe, what's going on? Moshe, I don't know. He's on. He's not on. Maybe he's on mute. Okay, let's continue. Yom Tov. So now, anybody who does that, there is a chiyuv. He's a chayav mishum mivashel. So he's going to be over isur of mivashel. So he says, what's going on here? So he says, okay, magiz b'gdira afilu ena ala esh chayav mishum mivashel. So magiz b'gdira. So according to Shulchan Aruch, if he goes and he mixes in the pot, even if it's not on fire, on Shabbat, if he mixes the mixture of the wool with color, he's gonna be chayav mishum mivashel. That alidei agasa b'gdira rotachat mitkarev bishul b'meira. So since the pot is still hot, and it's now Shabbat, and he mixes it, that's the chiyuv here, because it's still hot in that category where it makes the wool, I guess, get ready faster. So that will be sur deoraita, and therefore it will be asur if he did not cover it before Shabbat. Let's continue Zain. Now, we said yesterday, Zohar, you hear me? What's going on with this phone? Is something wrong with my phone?
Yes, Rabbi, I'm here.
Okay, so Zohar hears me. Moshe?
Rabbi, here, Rabbi, maybe he has noise around it.
Rav Moshe, you there?
Yeah. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, do me a favor, just if you could text Eliyahu to call you, because my phone is busy. Okay, now, so let's talk about, we spoke about setting up traps, Erev Shabbat, right? He said you're allowed to, you want to put up a trap, and the trap catches the fish, catches the deers, whatever you want it to catch. Okay. So now, we're not going to answer the question, I know, we're not going to hate it today. Can I free an animal from the trap on Shabbat?
Tzar Ba'alei Chaim.
You want to say Tzar Ba'alei Chaim? Yom Tov wants to answer yes. If you caught one of your, let's say your dog went on a trap.
Fish, he will die if you will leave it in the trap and you not collect
fish
it.
I'm not worried about because it's under the sea, I don't care. Whatever it is, it's not going to die.
And trap, depends what kind of trap. It can
Yeah,
die.
let's say your dog got caught in a trap on Shabbat. Can you open the trap to save your dog on Shabbat? Okay? Somebody asked me a similar question, maybe. Can I call emergency service if my dog was hit by a car on Shabbat? Can I take my dog to a
Veterinarian.
the vet shop place for surgery? My dog got hit with a car on Shabbat. Am I allowed to be michalel Shabbat to save my dog? That's the question. Okay? The answer is no. Not allowed to. You're only allowed to be michalel Shabbat to save a Jew. Even a goy, unless the goy, it's what's his name? Today we have a heter because of Shlom Malchut. We don't want to start a fight with them. Right, but that's the only reason. So technically, just that reason. So you want to say today, if somebody takes a video of your dog being hit and you ignoring it, maybe it will be fursam, it will make Shalom Bayit, and the whole world will go against the Jews. But yes, halachically, it will be asur to take a dog to the vet on Shabbat. So if that's the case, that was the answer that we came to conclusion. What if my dog got trapped and now his leg is strapped in the metal and he's bleeding? What should I do on Shabbat? Can you go and free him? Okay, maybe not, because again, freeing a dog from a trap, maybe I could argue, all you're doing is you munei tzar ba'alei chaim, right? You're taking away the tzar that he's in.
אבל אתה חייב גם לחבוש לו את הרגל, כי בדרך כלל הטראפים האלה פוצע.
Right, so now Yom Tov saying that no, you have to tell a goy to take care of your dog on Shabbat. So here, let's say a dog gets hit, your dog gets hit. It's halacha l'maisa over here. Everybody has a dog. It's a mamash. It's a shod. It's a shame that so many Jews think it's a normal thing. Let me have dogs. Let me have animals. No, you're not. On Shabbat, you have a big problem. You can't touch them. It's not so pashut. If you have a dog that's outside guarding your house, I have no problem. But to have a puppy to play around with on Shabbat, that's asur. That's asur. You're not allowed to touch him. It's muktzah.
Rabbi, it's true because when every time we touch it, it's too hot.
No, muktzah. No, Baalei Chaim is muktzah on Shabbat. The rabbis declare any animal is muktzah on Shabbat. What does that mean? You have a dog. Who gave you permission? Where did that come from? Okay? So now, let's say you have a dog. Unfortunately, you don't listen to halacha, you have a dog. The dog is a hit on Shabbat. So what do? The halacha is you tell her, your neighbor, go take care of the dog, please. I'll take care of you after. You don't tell him I'll pay you, but you could say, I'll take care of you after. Don't worry, you're not going to lose anything. And you cannot do nothing on Shabbat. You cannot be mechal on Shabbat. Yom Tov says, what about bandaging? Tell the guy to bandage it. You cannot do it. You're not allowed to. Tzar Baalei Chaim, it's a Averah if you're the one who caused it. It's not your cause. I didn't drive my car on it. I didn't tell him to step on the trap. He stepped it. Ma, what are you saying?
You can't free a dog then?
You cannot do anything on Shabbat. Chilul Shabbat.
So your dog is caught up in a trap? You gotta leave him as is?
You tell a guy to take care of him, yes. You ask a guy to take care of your dog. What?
And if there's no Jew?
There is no Jew, there's no goy, there's no goy. What are you gonna do? There's no goy, there's no goy. Let's say some crazy Jew. Another thing. Well, how dare you live amongst in the forest by yourself? What are you doing? You live by yourself. That's also asur. Kolak poresh min hatzibur, right? Somebody who doesn't want to live with the Jewish community, unless mamash. The guy is a righteous holy man. If he's a righteous holy man, I'm not worried. He doesn't have a dog. you know those people who live in the forest. They're far from righteous. Far from righteous. They're not living there because they don't want to do averot. They're living there because they don't want to live with the society. I know some people. They hate people. Literally, they hate people. They don't want to be next to people.
Some people like to be, leave me alone, live your life, let me live. You know what I'm saying?
It's a safek. I would be asking if they're Jews. Because Jew is all about community. We're all bundled.
You want to live from the land, like back in the days. You don't want to be...
So community, there should be a community. Okay, anyway, there should be a community. Now, so this is the halacha lema'aseh. If a dog gets trapped, this I believe that will be the answer. That if there will be chilul Shabbat involved, you're saving the dog, you're not allowed to be involved. Yeah. You have to tell a goy to take care of it. Okay, let's go. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out. But I'm telling you right now, that's the halacha lema'aseh. We checked about if you somebody asked me. This is the Berurah. What?
Today they have pets, not like only dogs. Back in the days, it was dogs, cats. Today they have birds, they have monkeys, they have all kind of lizards.
Yes, very good. All that is asur to be touched on Shabbat. Kol ha'chachamim made the takana. Baalei Chaim is a muktzah on Shabbat.
But you're allowed to feed him. You need to put the.
You have to feed. You have to give him the food. To give a food to an animal, you don't need to touch him, unless it's such a spoiled animal that he doesn't.
Birds usually doing that. They come in.
Okay, let's start. Let's see that what the Mishnah Berurah says. Mitzudot Chaya. The guy plays that. Erev Shabbat, I put out traps for animals. ובשבת אם הוא עושה כן, ובשעת פריסתו נכנס החיה לתוכה, חייב משום צידה. He says, if on Shabbat anybody, Mishnah Berurah says, if anybody laid out a trap on Shabbat and the trap caught somebody on Shabbat, if he laid out a trap and nothing was caught on this Shabbat, even if it's caught on next Shabbat, not a problem. But if somebody pulled out a trap on Shabbat, and on that Shabbat, the animal was trapped, he's chayav mishum tzeda. He's has to bring a korban if he did it by mistake. If he did it on purpose, he's going to be chayav mamash. He will be punished for it.
And if you put the trap before Shabbat?
Not a problem. What do you mean if? What are we talking about here? Specifically, you're allowed to put 5 minutes before Shabbat. That's a trap. Not a problem.
And the animal cut in Shabbat and
not your problem. Who said your trap will catch the animal? How many times you fishing? How many times you throw in and you catch?
You catch zero. You catch air.
Many times you don't do anything. I go fishing many times, and maybe out of the 40 casts you maybe catch. You're lucky 3, 4, and all those worms that you spend money on. God. All right. Anyway, so here the guy sets up a trap ahead of Shabbat, and he got caught on Shabbat. Good. If not, okay. But the problem is if you trap on Shabbat is the problem, setting up those traps. Okay. Ubilvad sheyitzeh. So now Mishnah Berurah continues, Siv Katan Chet, on Shulchan Aruch, Ubilvad sheyitzeh mipetach beito mibod yom. Oh, so we said like this. What about selling a goy? Remember we discussed yesterday, you sold something to a goy and you loaded up his donkeys. As long as, on Friday, as long as he's not in your property anymore, it's allowed. So where would that scenario be? Let's say you own 15, 20 acres, right? And you're parked, your warehouse is all the way, kacha. It's a 25-minute walk from your warehouse to the front gate that goes out of your property. So here, it's mashma, Shulchan Aruch says, you could load him up Erev Shabbat as long as he leaves before he reaches the gates, before nightfall. So let's see what that means. Right, Mishnah Berurah says, רצונו לומר דאי אין שהות לזה או שהעין היהודי מתמתנה עמו שיקח ממנו בשבת, אבא מכירה אסורה. He says like this, if on Friday the goy will not reach your exit before nightfall, it will be asur. And more than that, if a goy tells you, I'll come on Shabbat, I'll pick it up from you, from your warehouse, also prohibited to sell it. Also prohibited to sell it. Asura. Midvod yom, while it's day, you have to make sure that he reaches the destination or leaves your property before the day ends, before nightfall. Because what's the problem here? What are we choshesh? Like Yom Tov says, we always have a chash. Maybe you commanded this goy or you did business on Shabbat. That's the problem. There's another reason. שלא יחשדו את הישראל שמכר לו בשבת או משכנן בידו. That there's a problem that you sold it to him on Shabbat or you entrusted the goy to hold the property on Shabbat. That would be אסור. וטעם זה אסור אפילו בעיר המוקפת חומה או מקום שיש עירוב. Even if there is a roof in a let's say here in Maple Ridge, okay, there's a machloket if there is a roof or not. Let's say there is. Oak Ridge for sure there is a roof because it's gated all around. Hollywood Oaks is for sure a roof. So now let's say your property, even if it has a roof, the city has a roof, and the goy is still on your property. It will be asur as long as it's on your property. Even though there's no asur of tiltul, but since it's happening the transaction, the people will be choshed that you did the transaction on Shabbat. That's the וכן הסכימו האחרונים בדיינן לעניין מכירה וכן לעניין שכירות איזה חפץ, ודאי יש להחמיר אפילו במוקפת חומה, והיינו יהודי דר שם מה שיוצאים מביתו מבעוד יום. It says it doesn't matter, even if what's his name? If there is no isur tiltul, there's still prohibition of a goy taking items out of your house. Okay? Im yechet. Now, so what about another scenario? We said, the Shulchan Aruch told us, what about, some say, remember that opinion? That if, let's say, here's my front yard, in front of my garage. So I told the goy, this corner is yours, for your stuff. Take it whenever you want. So some say it's allowed. He could come on Shabbat and take it. So how come it's not allowed? How come over there we don't say, what about, maybe he did it on Shabbat, the business transaction? No. He says like this, if you designated an area for a goy, even if it's on your lot, on your land, on your property, it's as if you rented that place for a goy already. And therefore it's allowed. And we don't worry of shad, maybe people will suspect, we don't worry. You said this is rented to a goy. Since it's rented to a goy, there's no problem anymore. According to that opinion, not everybody agrees. Remember that opinion? How come we don't worry?
Remember then when we said with the caravan that he's renting for you, and the caravan is still in your yard, but he's coming.
No, but it's vitaltanim. There is a different. There was a problem is because it's an item that movable. Movable items, not so. We're not talking about here movable items. We're here saying that the land. You said I'm giving you this land, and on this land is your items. So here, because you gave him the land, we're not worried about chashad anymore. Because the land now belongs to the goy. It's like you rented to him the land. Once you rented now, on Pesach, I have 25 different apartments. I rented to a goyim. Do goyim have chametz over there? Am I over it? Yeah, no. I don't make any avera if the goy owns chametz. Why? Because when I rent land, it's no longer mine. I have zero possession over it for the time of the rental. So here, says the Mishnah Berurah explains, beautiful explanation, by the way. What's going on in my courtyard? It's my front yard. You're right, because it's the land. The land is not yours. Car, the item that you lend out on Shabbat, let's say you're renting lawn mowers. The guy comes on lawn mower and he takes it on Shabbat. That's asur. Why? Because lawn mower never loses the name sofer on it. Never loses its name. The land, yes, the moment that sofer rents out the land, it no longer belongs to me. It belongs to the goy. Remember, Zohar, the same concept was said in business. Remember, we had talking about laundromats. We're talking about shower bed houses. We're talking about businesses. If the moment that I rented it out, and there is a shmiyah also, if it's a general business, there has to be a shmiyah. But over here, there's no business. You're gonna say, I'm renting a part of my loan. You rented it. Who says the whole world knows about it? But if that's your usual business practice, everybody knows about it. Everybody, thank you very much. We're going to continue B'ezrat Hashem tomorrow. Those that need to go make parnasa, lechot titparnasu benachat b'shalom b'simcha u'betuv levav, make a lot of money without any suffering. And B'ezrat Hashem will continue tomorrow.